This is a trade recap for Thursday, February 26, 2026. Let's roll right into it. Day 21 of One and Done. First, the trigger. All good there. Had a minor issue today that I noticed with myself. So, a little bit something to go over there. Once we get into it, this was the first day Pat was back from his trip. So, good to have him back and guiding and mentoring us as usual and giving us lessons during the morning session, which is always welcome. And there is always a new lesson basically every day. So if you are looking for a high level coach and mentor, this is a gentleman you need to see. This is Pat Mitchell. He is the creator of Trick Trades. It is not a trading service like you'll find out there in most places. It is education. So it's one of those things where instead of like getting alerts and crap like that, like you do with a lot of these other services, you will actually learn how to do this the right way, the way you should have been taught or learned from the get go. A lot of us have screwed around with other services and found out that they're basically all BS. So, if you really want to get this process, strategy, career choice locked down, then you need to come and join Pat's service and learn how to do this. And if you need a preview of what that kind of looks like, jump over to his YouTube channel and you can go over one of any number of the videos there. It's probably over, I think he says over 1,500 videos on his channel right now. So definitely something to, again, look into if you're serious about this. And if you're not serious about this, then I would honestly say don't waste your time. But that is the truth of it. Now, with that being said, let's get into the trading session from this morning. All right, so here is our live recording. It is about a minute before the open. If you're new here, kind of the way this is laid out is daily charts on the left, 1 minute intraday charts in the middle, and then I keep my order execution here on the right. These blue levels you see on the daily chart, Pat starts developing these levels the night before and refines them the morning of, and then they don't change. They're very, very, again, they're static. They don't get manipulated or anything like that or changed after the fact or during the live session. And that's, again, how you build trade plans. And he is a master at building trade plans, as he has demonstrated an untold number of times. So I like to add these risk levels. I made them a little bit less bright, so they're a little less obnoxious. But I do have my risk levels on there because I personally like to see the risk levels. It's less for me to manage or visually kind of keep track of. But other than that, yeah, I'll go ahead and kick this one off. As you can see, we're kind of opening up here where we kind of closed on SPY, and then Q's was actually below its previous close. So the way things were looking, we just kind of had to wait a little bit to see how things would sort out and see ultimately where we would go. And again, looking for that first to trigger, quick reaction, first reaction, and that's more or less it due to the size we're taking right now. So here we go. See, just making sure things are all prepared, get the right option selected. And then Interactive Brokers was being a little funky this morning because when I clicked on the options contract I wanted on SPY, it took it a minute to load. So something was funky there, but whatever, it happens. Okay, we are open. Spies are on top of its level, so can't really do much with that. Q's is coming down into its level, which also happens to be, again, kind of where that 100 SMA is. So I want to make sure it gets nice and close before executing. SPY doesn't have a huge amount of support below it, so it's one of those things where will Q's be enough to kind of hold that up. Comes right down into it. Enter there with one. And this is where I noticed my issue was, as you're going to see here in a moment, just kind of waiting to see what it wants to do, getting ready to add it. I'm actually telling myself in my head to add right in here, about halfway in between the level, the entry level and the risk level, put my mouse over it. But for some reason, didn't click, didn't click. So that was an issue there that I have identified, and I've been pondering about it this morning, trying to figure out exactly why that is. So we're getting that kind of initial reaction, just seeing what SPY is doing alongside Q's. And then you get that nice reaction, take that one off. And that was pretty much a trade. Would have pulled the second one right there on that pop if I had averaged in. So again, a little bit of what happened there in terms of literally tell myself in my like inner monologue to enter the trade or add into it. Take the screenshot right there. Um, but for some reason, just it literally didn't physically click the button. Put my mouse over the buy button, but didn't click it. So what was going on there is something I'm pondering on and trying to sort out. Might take me a little bit, but we'll get there. But the interesting thing is that was that first reaction into that level. SPY doesn't have a whole lot of support up here, so it's like we're at that its level. So will it hold? Will it move up? Will it bounce? Who knows? But as I will show you, this is why you pay yourself quickly on that first reaction and get your size out. Because if you decide to bag hold this, you will have a bad day. So start step forward. As you see, it comes back down. Like, and also you need to recognize this isn't where you should be adding constantly either, because bang, 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 it just starts testing that lower. You do get another reaction after it hits the risk level, and but it doesn't really hold. So you had that one opportunity to potentially dump the position for a minor red scratch, whatever it is. But ultimately, if you tried to bag hold this, it's like you're gonna be in trouble because you're gonna try to manage it. Now it does give you that opportunity to kind of get out. Again, if you were to consistently add, but are you gonna get out? Because once it tries to come up, kind of bumps into the level, which would have been a great spot. Again, you take that long first reaction, let it pay yourself, let it clear out, comes back up underneath the level. Support now becomes resistance, and then you short it at that level, and boom, would have already paid in and out. Gave you a chance on the first reaction, chance to add, and then just if you had this size appropriate and you held one small one or a small portion of the position again. So I think like so far, just kind of got that steady little downtrend where it's just like, bleh, then it finally just again all the way down like that, and yeah. So now about 34 minutes into the market, and you can see it's just yeah, that short would have been had solid follow through. It just continues to basically fall apart. And again, this is why being disciplined and learning how to do this at this stage um, is super important, because as you can see, there was as you grow your account, so you can take more size, that gives you the ability to make your money, the bulk of it, kind of in that first reaction scenario. And then you get to hold on and kind of massage and kind of milk the position for its maximum potential with, again, a very small amount of remaining contracts, like holding one. Because again, if you held one of those contracts, like I don't even know what the premium was at that point, but I guarantee it was something probably close to probably paid what, I don't know, probably close to $10 with that dump out, judging by the range. So again, it's one of those things like that premium would have been real nice, even on a single contract. So again, you would have made several $100s off of one contract. That's why stripping that size out is so important. But in order to strip size out, you first have to have the ability to take that size. You need to be good with taking that size. You need to have your discipline, your emotions, and all that stuff in check. Otherwise, adding size will simply freak you out. And then you're just going to screw up the position. You're going to screw up the trade. And Pat has hammered that into us time and time again, which is why one and done is an exercise that he has preached for a very long time, actually, thinking back on it, to where, again, you slowly and incrementally build up your size to find out where does it start to get uncomfortable, where do you start to fall apart, and then you get comfortable with being uncomfortable so you can then take the next step up in size. And it's just increments. You just do it in increments, and then as you're doing this, you'll find that you'll get further down the road doing it that way than just trying to slam size into it randomly, because it's not going to work. You'll be all over the place with your emotions. You'll have no consistency and all anything you're looking at in your charts. It'll be very up and down, up and down. And there isn't a whole lot of like, what can you extract from that data wise? What information can you refine from that to actually put, some plan of action in place? So being very deliberate and consistent will let you look at your issues and start to figure them out. And that's a point he tries to get across to us, like probably almost every single day, where it's just constantly identifying, refining, and tweaking different aspects of not necessarily the technical actions, because this is all very robotic. It's actually your mentality, your discipline, your emotions, like those minor tweaks with yourself. And that's where a lot, I think, traders, and as he has said, probably fail. It has less to do with the actual act of trading, because that's very, like I said, mechanical and robotic. Has to do with, again, figuring out our issues and refining those. And that is the less glamorous side of this whole thing. It's not flashy P&Ls. It's not fucking Rolexes and Ferraris. It is what psychological, mental, and emotional hangups and issues do you have that you need to get past so that you can do what you need to do while you're trading. And it probably even extends beyond trading. Some food for thought there. So, like I said, I had that one issue where I missed that ad when I should have added. I told myself to add. I put my cursor literally over the buy button to add, but for some reason, didn't click. Didn't click. So, I have issues. We all have issues that we're going to encounter as we're learning this, and then it's on us to figure out said issues. So, let's figure them out. And that is more or less all I have for this one. Like I said, this was 21 out of 30. So we're actually, again, a little over 2/3 the way there, um, which is great because, yeah, it's one of those things where this is definitely revealed a lot. And looking forward to, again, finishing this out and going back and reviewing it. Might do a separate video on that one in and of itself of just reviewing this entire process. But that's all I got. So if you're looking for high level coaching, mentoring, come see Pat Mitchell over at tricktrades.com. If you want more information in terms of what he offers, you can check out his YouTube videos, trade recaps and lessons on his YouTube page. I also have a link to the SizeUp webinar. I'm part of the SizeUp program that he runs, which is part of that process of learning how to do this in an incremental fashion. Highly recommend you check that one out, and hopefully we will see you there. Other than that, hope everyone has a good one. Later.